Volkswagen Jetta 2012. It's the 2.5. I don't know zippy zap about Volkswagens. We're gonna wash up. My used car guy left it for me. Awesome. He said, don't worry about it. It's something easy. Cancel out of here. Select vehicle, auto ID. I told him I'd give it my best, but I made no promises. I know this is way out of my category. I don't work on European cars. I am told. See right here, what it says 11 Volkswagen. I thought it was a 12. Was it VIN B? Oh yeah, VIN B. I guess that would be 11. Volkswagen SC wants to know if it's a CBUA or a CBTA. Where the heck do you find that out? I'll tell you where you find it out. Google. Fifth VIN is a VIN Z, which apparently is a CBUA. PZEV engine. Alright, we've made it past the main menu. We're going to go to engine. Continue. We're going to read the codes out of it. He says it's wicked easy. Improper installation of aftermarket radio or non-Volkswagen radio can cause severe damage to scan tools. Is the vehicle equipped with this style radio? It's got a Volkswagen radio in it. Looks like. Let's see. No, it is not equipped with aftermarket radio. I've heard that. The Snap-on scan tool has a little fuse in the OBD2 plugger. And they said that's for Volkswagen stuff. Aftermarket radios. I've heard that before. It'll crash the scan tool or fry something. Got the power supply under the hood. The battery was just about nuked. It barely started. What in the thunder? These aren't even P codes. These are something fancy. Flow pressure sensor, secondary air injection, bank 1, signal improbable. So it must have secondary air, must be able to measure the pressure on it, I would assume. We have a main relay de-energized too early. Oh, there's the P codes. So a P2431, a P0668A, and a P0568 cruise control operating device signal improbable. So it has cruise on, off, cancel. We can't drive the car. There's no license plates on it. I'm going to back out of here. Back out of here. We are going to go to enhanced OBD2. This is typically what I do if I ever have to work on any kind of Euro stuff or something I'm very unfamiliar with. OBD2 is always very standard, so it's going to give us parameters that look familiar to us. We're going to see what codes, current, pending, permanent, I guess it would be in this would have mode 10, and see what is the reason for the mill. He did tell me he replaced the map sensor. Perhaps it had a map sensor code. I'm told that if the engine light is cleared that it comes right back. He did tell me that. People probably already know what's wrong with the car. I don't. Alright, here we go. Alright. So this is interesting. He told me that if you clear the code it comes right back. However, the entire drive cycle is done. The whole drive cycle is complete on the exception of the secondary air. So it's not ready. So that's interesting. Keep that in our mind. And I don't think he drove it here. I think he trailered it. And I doubt he ran the in-bay force monitor tests that you can run with these. We'll go to mode 3, 4, 7, and 10. We'll check our current codes, history codes, all that stuff. We'll see what's up. Current code 2431, secondary air system. Pending code 2431. This is why I like OBD2, because there we are. We have a current, pending, and a permanent code, the 2431. That is what we're going to go after. That is what's turning the mill on, and that's his biggest concern. So we're going to look to see how the secondary air system on this works. I'll back out of here. I'm going to go back to OEM data. I do not know if we have any kind of special tests. Maybe we do. So once we find this system, Perhaps we can toggle it on and off. This is stuff that I don't understand right here. These adaptations and all that stuff. I'm gonna have to do some looking in service data. This is probably gonna set me back a little ways, because I don't know this stuff. They're adaptations and they're coding, and I don't work on them enough to even to know it or understand it. Let's see, there's one here that says output test. We'll click on that. We'll see where that takes us. I don't want to go fiddling with too many buttons because I don't know if you can actually mess stuff up. Let's see, please refer to service manual before you start any special tests to prevent render vehicle inoperable or damage any controllers. Well, that's a good warning. Alright, we'll hit OK. And then it brings us up to a start and stop. I don't know if this turns on all outputs. We're just going to exit right back out of it because we don't know what we're doing. We will hit abort. And let's find some service data and see if we can go kind of old school to see what's up on the VW. I'm going to look through data. Now I know they do their data in these channel things. You guys are probably laughing at me who work on Volkswagens. This is completely opposite of every other car we work on. So I want to look at data, see if we have some data on the secondary air injection that may be helpful to us. And if not, we can always find the pump. Hopefully it's just an electric pump. Here we go. I'm going to customize the data list for us and then see what we find. So here's the story. I went through the whole list. I don't see anything that looks like it pertains to secondary air or secondary air pressure or secondary air flow. I'm not sure how it's calculated. Older cars used to look at O2 sensors, post-catalyst O2 sensors. When the air pump was commanded on, they would look at the fuel trims. Some of them would look at extra air through the mass airflow. Some of them had their own little mass airflow, pressure sensors, stuff like that. So lots of different things. Not knowing how the system works and not seeing any easy bidirectional controls or anything here in scan data that appears to be helpful. I think I'm going to go right for service info to see if I can find anything valuable there in their code setting criteria and see if we can't fumble our way through this. Also, we're a few minutes in. Best thing to do obviously is look for service bulletins, see if there's any bulletins put right out by VW. Maybe this is prone to sucking water in the secondary air injection, or by a chuck valve, that goes bad, something like that. So I'm going to try to keep my similar routine that I would use on any domestic or Asian car I would work on, apply it to this, and like I say, hopefully fumble our way through it. So wish me luck. I did find a service bulletin on it. Apparently they have an updated air injection hose that has a sensor built into it. And they say if you get this code, change that hose. Probably is what we're going to find. Maybe a failed sensor. Other than that, I struggle. I'm gonna be honest with you, folks. We're gonna be real here. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. I struggle with VW and their service info. I don't understand it. But what I do understand is pictures, and I found one. Secondary air injection gizmos. We have a secondary air injection pump down here, item 12. Looks like number 11 is probably the intake tube for it off the fresh air side of the engine. We have hose number 5, which is a pressure tube that goes up to the check valve, solenoid valve. And then looks like the pressure sensor number 6. So we should be able to figure out what's wrong with this. Going old school, probably a failed pressure sensor, but that's what it looks like. Somewhere's in this area of the engine. We're gonna try to take some stuff off here without breaking everything. It's the other thing, I get near a Volkswagen, I even look at them cross-eyed, it seems like all their plastic breaks. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna find it, see if we can turn the solenoid on and off, see if the check valve works, see if the pump works. Maybe we look at a diagram, see where it's supposed to have powers and stuff like that. Take that off. I do not know if this thing just pulls off. It looks like it does. Looks like it's rubber mounted over here. I say that, but I don't want to freaking break anything. There's a big clamp here that's already been loose from the looks of it. This is where you turn the camera off and kind of tweak on things a little. So this appears that it's supposed to have screws in it. It's got one screw in it. Let me get a Torx bit. The other side looks like it's supposed to have a screw in it, but it's not there. Took the clamp off, the big hose there. Get the screw out of the way. I'll put that right on my cart where I won't lose it. This thing's off. This thing was only on with rubber dongers, it felt like. Yep. Well, look at that. That really opens her up. It's on the bottom here. Rubber donger there. Rubber donger there. One there. And one there. What is this? Oh, it must be the old air filter in there. And then, of course, the big, you know, the big honking clamp there. So that was easy. Woo! Now that that is all off, it looks like we have a fresh air tube here. I don't know where the pump is. The check valve is back here. That's easy to get to. Ah, the pressure sensor is right up there where it's easy to get to. Of course, you can't see it. I'll show you. Let's put this on. That pressure sensor looks newer than some of the other jiggly bits here. Now he said he changed the map sensor, which is way down here on the side of the engine, on the side of the manifold, and there's no way that's been changed. I assume that's a map. It's right on the manifold. Okay. So let's get this hose off here. Let's get this one off. And because that sensor looks like it's been replaced. So we got this big honking clamp. The other one had like an insane amount of tension on it. We'll move that one over. Let that go very gingerly. See if we can unhook these. That one's unhooked. There's another one down lower. See if we can get my fingers on it. Let's see. I don't know where it goes, so I don't want to put too much tension on it. End up having it break. We may have to resort to swearing. I don't know what to do. Let's see. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. We ain't whining and complaining yet. Oh, you stinking pot. Or just pull. A couple little nipples there. A couple hoses. One of these is going to be the fresh air side of the air pump, which I can see it. It's way down there. Fantastic. So we can get to everything. And then the other tube, this tube right here, hopefully you guys can see it. You probably can't. Comes from the pressure sensor down to the air pump. Great. And there's big wires going to the air pump, which I think we can easily get to from underneath. So I say. Alright, so we've identified components. We know where they live. I'm thinking first thing first, because I couldn't find code setting criteria. We know it sees implausible data from the pressure sensor, so I'm assuming that this thing turns on the pump, compares it to atmospheric pressure, reads the pressure sensor, opens the valve, and expects to see a pressure drop. That is my guess. That is kind of the theory most cars work on with secondary air systems. These valves back here are usually just power and ground. I have no idea how the connectors come undone. We'll have to figure that out. And we'll see if the air pump works. We'll see if the valve works. We'll see if the pressure sensor reads as it should. I hope it does. It's new. Perhaps there's something going on there. I'm assuming it's a 3-wire sensor. It looks like a big connector. And this connector is broken, so I assume this is the one that was replaced. I'm going to unplug it. And it is 3 wires. It has 4 cavities, but it's 3 wires. Like I say, the connector is broke, so I got to believe that's the sensor he replaced. So I'm thinking 5 volts ground signal wire. So we'll plug that back in. I wish I could see this data on the scan tool. because that would tell us a lot of information right there, but we're going to do the best we can with what I know. Alright, so how do these things work? Oh, it's ready to push out. I just reached in and undid the tab. Okay. So we'll get a power probe. We'll see if the valve here opens and closes. We'll see if we can't get the hose off. And this is pretty common on GMs. These things get all corroded and they no longer open and close, or they get water in them and they get stuck. So we'll see if we can see in there with a mirror, see if it's a regular, you know, like gate valve that opens and closes. Let me get a mirror. It's doing a heck of a job mowing his grass over there. And it is, so we can see inside there. So we should be able to see some physical movement. And then of course we can hook a hose to it and blow on it with our lips. See what it does. We'll grab our PP. That's short for power probe. We'll hook that up to the plus, to the corroded minus. There's that. We'll go back here to our air valve, our air diverter valve. This is going to allow air into the exhaust system and allow it not back into the air pump when it's off. So let's see if we can get in here without shorting stuff out, see if it has continuity. And it does. Okay. Let me turn off the beeper here. I'm going to see if we hear it open and close. Okay, so we hear it open and close, so that's a good sign. I think what we need is a wiring diagram to see, you know, does this thing have full-time power, and then a control side. Let me just turn the key on just in case it does. That might give us a big clue. Alright, so the key is on. We'll see if either one of those has power. I don't know, there's nothing there. 13.65 volts there, so we have power there, so I'm assuming that's full-time power from a fuse, and then this wire must be the control side. So it looks like a blue with a red stripe is the power side. Alright, we heard it open and close. It doesn't mean that it actually seals. We'll come back to that. Let's unplug the sensor itself. Whoa, we don't want to lose that. We'll unplug the sensor, see if we have 5 volts in the ground. Might have 2 5 volts here. Open circuit on the signal wire, so let's see what we have. 0 volts, 5 volts, and a ground. So, yep, so we light up for a ground there. We have 5 volts there, and then just kind of ghost voltage there. Alright. So I'm curious if we can get into the wiring harness here. We can back probe it now that we know which one should be the signal wire. It'd be a lot easier to look at this on ScanData if I knew how to do that. If I knew how to get in this connector, it'd be really handy too. With my pick. Okay, there's that half, and that half. So it looks like pin 4 is a purple with white. I believe that's going to be our signal. Let me just double check that. And it should be. Let's grab a back probe. Actually, I got stuff in my cart here. Grab our new test kit from AES Wave. Fantastic BITO kit. Ah, this thing's a 5-cylinder and it says CBU. That's interesting. 5-cylinder. You don't see that every day. I didn't even know that. Now we do. So let's probe into here. And I don't know what a good atmospheric pressure is. Maybe 2.5 volts, maybe. This is at 4 volts, 3.94. Okay. Okay, children. Drugs are bad. Let's see in our other one. Just make sure we're not crossing pins. 3.9. 5 volts. And we still have a ground, so we're going to assume .94. Now this is not the best tool for the job. This is not high impedance set. It's probably not very accurate. It's probably more like 4.2 volts or something. Let's, just in case we need to know for real, let's get a real meter just so we know. Because signal wires, that thing, the old prober will usually pull them down. Let's just verify real quick here, like a bunny. See what voltage actually is. Let's get a ground. I just want to kind of know where are we at. 3.93. Okay, never mind. That signal cannot be pulled down that easily, so we'll keep using the power probe now that we know it's for real. Okay. Can we get a piece of hose and blow in that and see if we see some pressure change? Got me some hose. I don't know whose lips have been on it, but we're going to give it a go. Let's hook up our power prober. Okay, we're at 3.94. We know that's for Rizzle. 3.94. Let's see what I can do here. Ah, damn it. It unplugged. Let me get something to plug that in so it doesn't keep coming unplugged. There we go. Get one of these on there. Get this on there. Alright, 3.94. Let's blow in this thing. It just went up to 4.08. Okay, we're up to 4. I was blowing out of one of these down here. Let me see which one comes from our air compressor. So it did go up, and it comes from this hose here. So let's plug this in here. Let me enhance. Okay, I've got my hose plugged into the fresh air side of the air pump. I'm going to blow through it and plug this side. It should go up to 5 volts, I'm guessing. I ain't quite hired yet. Okay, now I'm going to give it the suck job. If I can, the voltage should go down. That's all I got. Really ain't that good. Alright, well, I ain't sucking a golf ball through a garden hose, but we see the pressure moves. We don't know if atmospheric pressure is supposed to be 3.94. That's what we need to check out next. Cannot, for the life of me, find in service data. I'm either looking in the wrong place or something. All I can find is what they call service data for generic scan tools, and basically they have you ohm test the wires and just change parts. I did find where somebody did a write-up on it, and they said key on engine off voltage is 2.6 volts, which is kind of what I would expect atmospheric pressure to be, just in my guess and experience. This is at 3.94. I'd love to find something in service data that said what the voltage spec is. I'm going to go with what I've read right now. We know we have 5 volts, we know we have a good ground, and it's there when it's plugged in, and we know we're at 3.94, which seems out of line to me, because obviously when we blow in it, it can only go up another volt or half a volt. I'm going to do some more looking. I know it's going to be wasting time, but at this point I'm going to have to say that this sensor is either the incorrect one for this car. It's a Bosch sensor, made in Germany it says. It's obviously been replaced. It's either the wrong one or it's just faulty or out of the box. It appears that this is not working. If the information we found, 2.6 volts key on engine off, is correct, then this sensor is no good. I'm going to finish checking the rest of the air system, which entails just turning the pump on. Make sure that valve actually seals, and then make the call, because we don't, if this valve leaks and is burning up these sensors, we want to know that too. Can this valve really hold pressure? That's one thing we need to know. Typically, if they don't, all this crap melts. Where the plastic goes, it melts almost instantly, so I assume it's sealing. unless there's a backup strategy in there for a check valve, a mechanical one. We don't know that either. And then we're just going to make the call on that and order a part. Oh, that valve seems to work. It shuts. I'm going to kick the air pump on, make sure it works. We'll use the power probe for that. I think I can get to it without even putting the car in the lift. And then, you know, we know the sensor is faulty and or the wrong one and or something. So let's turn that pump on. See if there's anything useful in here. How do you think this thing comes off? There's half of it. Oh, there we go. Got a couple of relays. I assume it's going to run off a relay in one of the big honking fuses here. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, pick a relay, but I'll go look. I'm going to drive myself absolutely crazy. I can't even find the fuse box layout. I can find out how to change the fuse box. I looked at the diagram. I'm thinking one of these is the engine control relay, one is the air pump relay. Key's on. If I pull this out, I'm thinking, I'll pick this one, see if we hear it unclick. I'm gonna assume that's the engine relay. Everything turned off and turned back on. All right. That's for grins and giggles. Let's do this the smart way, I guess. Let me grab a test light. I feel like such an idiot when I look at these cars. I'm sure if you do it every day, it's probably not too awful bad. Let's just see if this relay has any. It's even an odd looking relay. Should have power on one of these big suckers. Can't get to it. One of these should have power. That one does. So that's going to be the control. So whatever it controls, shouldn't be anything catastrophic if we turn it on. Come down beside it. Plug it in. It should turn on whatever it runs. Oh, scared me. All right, good. That's our air pump. That's all I wanted. Look at that. Good guess. And can you guys see the power probe down there? So it's at 3.94 volts. It goes up to 4.7. That means our valve is closed. Jeez, stinking stink pot cars. Well, at least we know the air pump works. Sensor's wonky. I'm quitting. I'm already an hour into it. I'm done. Shouldn't have worked on it. I think we're right in the end. So we know that's good. We can feel it sucking a little. Alright, we're good. This is my most undefinitive call I've ever made. Not the most, but I just feel like a ding dong. Okay, there we go. Let me see if it's already late. I'm gonna see if I can find that sensor. Maybe we get one ordered and get this baby wrapped up. Feel a little bit better about it when we're all done. We're gonna leave it at that, folks. I'm gonna order the part. I'm not gonna do a part 2 to this video. I'll wait till it comes in and big one continuation of a video of putting it on. It looks like it does come with the entire hose. Should we have followed the service bulletin and just shotgun some parts at it based off a code? Well, in this case, I think it would have worked. I don't think that'll work in every situation. And I honestly can't just feel good about pulling a code, getting a bulletin, and changing a part. It's just not who I am. It's not in my nature. I feel good about the tests we did. I wish I could find definitive data in service info, but I can't. After talking with Keith, I believe that service info is all on the factory scan tool, where it tells you the values of these sensors and stuff, and that's why we don't find it in the written published service info, because Volkswagen simply doesn't publish it, from my understanding. So we're gonna base this off the experience of others and information that I did find published, that the 2.6 volts is atmospheric pressure, you know, at our sea level here. We'll take it from there. So stick around. Bart will be here shortly.